So, quite a few of you have asked, what does running preparation mean? What does it really entail? So, I put together this mini video along with this running prep little kind of like cheat guide to help you guys, if you have really been struggling getting back into running or maybe you've hit a plateau. I think part of this is helping you rethink how you're approaching training. And so today, I actually want to dive a little bit deeper into why traditional training approaches often fall short and what you should focus on instead if you want to run more confidently, more efficiently. So think about, okay, a traditional approach maybe versus a little bit of a smarter strategy. So most traditional running programs and plans, I feel like are packed with just really general exercises like planks and squats and stretches. And please don't get me wrong, like those things definitely have their time and their place. But if running is really your goal, you need to think about a more specific approach that prepares your body for the unique demands of running. So what does running really require? Think about it, right? It's not just about, hey, lacing up your shoes, just getting out the door. It's really about mastering specific movement patterns and developing the right kind of strength and stability. So, this cheat sheet I created hopefully helps break down some key areas that I think often get overlooked when it comes to running. So, okay, first and foremost, right? Like single leg balance and stability. So when you run, essentially you are hopping from one leg to the other, right? Like over and over and over again. And so if you really can't maintain good balance or control on one leg, that could potentially be a little bit of a red flag. And this is where exercises like single leg balance drills and strength work, really honing in on, your hip, your core, right, in those positions really becomes critical. And so, right, it's not just about, we'll say it's about strength, obviously, in those positions, but it's also about endurance. So, can you get in that position? And then how long can you maintain that position for? Think about, all right, elasticity, right, in your foot and your ankle. Your feet and your ankles need to be springy. They need to be responsive, like not just strong. Like just think about a quick response, like a quick recoil, right, from your foot striking the ground to push off. And so things like plyometric drills and like foot conditioning exercises are really good for building that type of elasticity so you can really push off the ground efficiently. And this is why I mentioned in here too, like this is why your big toe, this is why we have a big toe for a reason, right? It can push off from the ground. And that's like the momentum that really helps us drive ourselves forward. And this is probably also very connected, right, to like your glute and your hamstring strength, which are, think about it, the engines that drive you forward. And this is why I do find a lot of runners, they kind of call themselves like quad dominant because they focus too much in that one plane of motion, that one pattern. So they do all squats or all lunges. Again, like I'm not discounting those aren't not great exercises, but I think you miss out on some other things that are really going to influence like your glutes and your hamstrings to really help you like get the momentum going, right, with running. So things, like deadlifts and hip thrusts, hamstring curls, obviously there's so many different exercises you can do for those. And then I do think a big last kind of piece here is like your upper body coordination and stability. So think about, right, your arms. It's not just about your legs. Think about your arms, your torso play a huge role in just maintaining that rhythm, coordination, balance, like forward momentum. And so it's like if your upper body's a little like stiff and stagnant, it's just, it's almost like always having the parking brake. I feel like driving a car with always the parking brake slightly turned on still. And so, yeah, like they have to kind of, again, coordinate synchronously, but like asynchronously, right, at the same time with your hips. So again, kind of four key pieces that I find are always missing typically in like training programs and just like training protocols when it comes to running. And then, the biggest things I do find as well are just, or maybe people have questions about are like dosing and strategy, right? Like how much and when. So a lot of runners I do find are either doing too much too soon or just get stuck in like an endless, excuse me, rehab mode. Oh my gosh, excuse me. And the key really is finding the right balance, right? Enough stimulus to really like build the strength and keep that momentum going without overloading and doing too much too soon. So this really just has to be very gradual. And again, something that I wouldn't expect, again, a regular Joe Schmo to like know how to dose that. I mean, this is where like exercise science and programming are pretty important, right? Like knowing how to write a program and knowing how to dose this right for an individual is a skill. So again, this is why the strategy matters more than just doing more, right? I mean, I know so many of you guys have just said, "Oh, I'm just focusing on doing more squats or more lunges or more calf raises," right? Like again, just doing more isn't necessarily going to translate to, the goal that you do have, right? So think of it like this. You wouldn't train for a marathon just by running endlessly, right? Without a plan. Like you wouldn't just go from 0 to 26 miles, I would imagine. So the same goes for running. Like there needs to be maybe some type of reverse engineering strategy and really trying to break it down so that you're working smarter and not harder. And so yeah, these are why, like, which exercises you do, which drills you're doing, like when do you actually transition from like drill and like training program to actual running? Like that's a transition in and of itself. So yeah, just being a little bit more intentional about programming these specific aspects to your running. So, yeah, running is a full body skill that demands really like precision and strategy, not just endurance and just doing more and just running more. So, I hope that like this is something that's helpful for you guys, to go over more of like what preparation should really look like. And so again, if you've just been doing all the core work, all the stretches and still feel like something's missing, might be time to shift your focus here a little bit, right? So thinking about prioritizing these areas, adjusting the strategy here a little bit, and hopefully your running does improve. But if you are interested in learning more about how to really apply these principles like to your training, like feel free to reach out. I'm always here to help you like reach your goals, run stronger, do this, with less, pain. I know that can kind of add another dimension here too if you are struggling with like knee pain, hip pain, back pain, before, after, during running. That requires probably even more thoughtfulness to, your strategy here as well. And thanks for watching. Hopefully, again, this was super helpful. And just remember, running really is a skill that requires preparation. So don't skip the details that matter.